Welcome to Jack's Rants, our series of smaller bonus episodes where I discuss recent IT and security news that has popped up locally and worldwide, which might not be enough material for a good episode, but nevertheless deserves a bit of insight. I am Jack Smith. Today I want to talk about one of my favorite examples of IT industry redefining word, because back in the day, change management was one thing, and now it suddenly became two different things. Both are important, but both are called change management. And still, project managers, that's us, we are expected to be experts in both. Let's go back in time a bit. So back in the old days, change management was ETIL, ITIL. You raise an RFC, you document the details, you assess the risk, you write a rollback plan, present it to the CAP, the change board, you get it approved, schedule the maintenance window, deploy, and hope you don't need the rollback and nothing catches fire. And that was it. Really, really easy. And then HR joined the meeting because fast forward a few years, your change management now means you need to manage stakeholders, make communication plans, look at metrics, organize workshops, do coaching, have resistance management, like the Borg are actually at your door. You need to address emotional readiness and work with the company culture. Same words, but it means something completely different. And from that point of view, well, you could say that a technical project manager has now become a psychologist, a communication specialist, a mediator, a trainer, a coach, and at the same time a conflict manager, while at the same time, of course, delivering the project on time, on budget, and, well, preferably without anything going offline ever. And that's what all the confusion is about. Just, remember, if you imagine you walk into a meeting, say, "Hi, I am the new change manager." Half the crowd will hear, "Oh, this is RFCs and caps and rollback plans and maintenance windows," and HR will go emotions, workshop, engagements, resistance, and corporate culture. And management is just asking himself, well, but why aren't we using the new system? Everybody hears what they want to hear, everybody nods, but in the end, you find out that everybody is talking and understanding somebody else. Now, how does that come? Because technology doesn't usually kill projects. The tech is the easy part. You put in a server, you put in the new cable, you put in a new access point, you put in the new security, click, and well, basically you're done. People are harder, and it's not because they're stupid or incompetent or any negative word you want to throw at them, because that's completely undeserving, but people don't naturally like change, and change here is the magic word. Even when something new is presented to them that's effectively, objectively better, it's still not accepted, and even especially then, it becomes even harder to be accepted. We've all heard this. You come in with a new application, a new system, a new login, and the feedback is, yeah, but we've always done it this way. I don't like this new cloud thing. It's a new icon. The icon was green, now it's this like semi-teal color. I like the green one better. And actually, up until the detail as, oh, well, my monitor used to be on the other side. This new desktop environment isn't working for me because it looks different. And that's where quickly you find out that you're not discussing technology anymore. You are moving into a discussion of habits, of human habits. And that doesn't mean that the users are wrong, of course, because that's a mistake that a very technical PM can sadly go really, really into. The user is wrong. Well, no, resistance is not irrational. You have to put yourself in the seat and the mindset of the user and ask yourself, okay, so what are they losing? What did the old thing actually solve for them? Did we get their feedback? Did we explain why we're doing it? And is the new thing actually better? Because sometimes you're changing something to save a buck and you're actually making things worse. Those exist, but still, you have to forget you're still the project manager, and your job is to get something delivered on time, on budget, and not destroying everything else. So where's the line? Where do you stop being a PM and where do you start being something else? So as a PM, of course, you should care about people. You are not a machine. You're not, as we said before, the Borg. So you have to explain the change, listen to what's up, take that into your communication, take some obstacles away, and in the end, you're there to help the people succeed. That's your job. But bit by bit, over the last years, well, it does seem that a project manager slowly has evolved into be a shrink because you are expected to solve with fear of change, interpersonal conflict, a resistance to authority, 20 years of IT frustration. Trust me, I've had some of those. Lack of confidence, lack of motivation, and maybe sometimes how a lot of folks perceive their entire life, what they have been doing, and well, changing isn't good. Let's just have some examples here. I don't understand the application. Sure, we'll explain it. If it makes the work harder or it's perceived harder, let's discuss it. The timing doesn't work for our department or for myself. Sure, fair enough. I can get that feedback. We can adapt the timing where needed and see if and when it fits into the global thing. But when at a certain point in time, changing a personal desktop gives people personal anxieties, well, then you stop being the project manager and you quickly become a therapist. And as said, as a PM, you are there to deliver the actual change. You are not there to heal any personal traumas or personal issues that these people might have. I've had customers explain this to me just so, and they asked me, Jack, how do you solve this? And my answer was, well, these folks need to take that up with their life coach or their therapist. If it's a large multinational, they will have a mental health department somewhere. Go and talk to them. But I'm still the project manager and I need to deliver this project as well. Unless, of course, you want to give me 50% more budget and give me twice the time, then sure, we can implement this all into the current project that we are here supposed to be doing. Is there a bit of lessons learned? Yeah, sure, of course. First of all, you have to know that technical change management and organizational change management, they're different disciplines. They're just, they're called the same, they're different. So from a technical point of view, you will ask, can we do this safely? Is every base covered? Organizational changes can people use it? And they're quite different in the outcome and what, well, neither replaces the other. There's two different things as well, and this is a very important one. You have to listen to the end users before you start defending the project and the way of working, because sometimes actually users can be right. What you are suggesting here might not be perfect at all, and nobody actually really wants it. And that's where the third one, the empathy, that's part of the job, comes in. You are not the end responsible for the well-being of everybody. You have to know where your responsibility is ending and of course where it's starting. But as a PM, you do that. So if you're a technical PM, um, some ballpark things here that you can work with. You have to explain the why and not the what. Listen to the users, see how it's being adopted. Be honest. If things are changing, tell people from the get-go. Don't suddenly give them a new email address on the migration day. You tell them, hey, this is what we are going to change. You will get a new email address. You will get a new login. You have to let the folks know that this is going to happen so you can remove all the obstacles. And if you see that it is an organizational issue, you escalate it. Your project will have a steering committee, it will have its own stakeholders. You have to mention and list that as an effective risk for the integration and the success of the project. What you shouldn't do is take the resistance personally. 9 out of 10, it's not against you, it's against, wink wink, the system. It is against the organization. It is about folks being driven to the same kind of project which will change their entire way of working for the fifth time in 6 years. People get tired of it. You have to be realistic and certainly in your promises. What you can't control, you cannot promise. You can promise to do your best and do everything at your more than best effort, but you cannot promise total happiness. You cannot convince everybody over. Don't try to do that. And most of all, you are not the company therapist. There are professionals in that field that can help those folks with might validly have many, many questions to get answers for those. And this isn't new. Take, for example, episode 12, Failover that failed successfully. Everything was a success on a technical level, but on a personal level, well, people weren't aligned and they didn't communicate. And while everybody had the same story and the same information, both parties understood something completely different. In closing, maybe the best PMs today aren't the ones that make the shiniest Gantt charts in MS Project. Sometimes you're an engineer, you're a translator, you're a negotiator, you're a referee, even a communications officer. These are all the hats that you have to wear on your head these days. In short, you still have to raise the change. You have to prepare the rollback plan. You have to communicate the change. You have to train the users. And yes, if your steering committee starts feeling like a group therapy, it's time to get HR in there and see how they feel about all this change that is happening. And then I am not talking about the IT change. I am talking about the personal change. Because yes, you can migrate a data center. You can do an entire network refresh. You can return from a production outage, but you are still not a shrink. And that is something that you may never forget. Do not force yourself to fix everything.
This was Jack Smith. Have a nice day.
The content of this podcast is intended for entertainment purposes only and is meant to humorously explore various tech-related situations. Any resemblance to actual events or real persons, living or dead, is purely coincidental. We ridicule situations, never individuals or groups. Listener discretion is advised, and we encourage everyone to approach technology with a sense of humor and an open mind.